Hey, this is Mark, and I've got another long screw damage, iPhone 6 long screw damage. So, let's get the chat open. There we go. And go ahead and knock this one out. So, I just had a little bit of drama out in front of the house. I streaming a few different repairs tonight and taking a little break before I started on this one. Went out front to smoke and saw a car with its lights on parked just up the road a little bit in front of one of my neighbor's houses. So I just went over to make sure everything's okay, see what's going on, see if somebody needed some help, maybe a jump or something. And it was a young girl, about 19, who had just had her phone stolen. So she told me the story about what had happened. She apparently had gone on a date with a guy, and it didn't. She wasn't really feeling it, and told him, I think I'm just going to give you a ride home. And on their way home, coming down my street, he started getting really belligerent and yelling at her for wasting his time. I guess he was expecting to get laid tonight and was a little upset that he wasn't going to. And she was like, dude, you need to calm down before I call the police. And that set him off, and he threw her car into park and tried to grab her keys out of the ignition, which she didn't let him do that. So then he grabbed her phone and just bolted out the door and ran down the road. So that's about the time when I went outside to smoke and was like, hey, what's going on? She told me her story. So I had her drive over and park at my place and brought the laptop out and pulled up Find My Phone, and we could see that her phone was just down the end of the road and around the corner and just kind of sitting there. So she called the cops, and it took them a long time to show up, but they finally showed up, went and talked to the guy, got her phone back, gave it back to her, and everybody just went their own way. So it's I guess the best outcome that could be hoped for in that situation. But a little bit of drama. I was not expecting to be dealing with that tonight. Whew, man, this is a tough one here. I can tell this second layer is pretty messed up. Hopefully I can get this off without pulling up too much, and get this ground plane off without pulling up too much of the second layer. Although you can see right there we got definitely some second layer coming off. Oh, dog's getting into something. I'll be right back. There. What do you got? Get out of there. Get out of there. Stupid dog nosing around in the wife's purse looking for gum or snacks or something. Such a butthole. Alright, so looks like we definitely have some sponginess right here, which is where the via for the LCM reset line is. So I'm going to go ahead and pull off this second layer ground plane and try to get down into the third layer. I don't even want to take a chance that that via is not connected and have to go back in after I fix things. So I'm just going to jump right into third layer trace repair. Alright, we need to get this ground plane off. Well, hello, Chris Long. Yeah, live long screw. Make sure you have your notepad there so you can take some notes. All right. Get rid of this little flap. We don't need that. This ground plane peeled up and out of my way. And definitely looks like that via is no good anymore. This is him right here where he goes down into the third layer, and he is obviously spongy, so I'm just gonna say fuck you, via. We don't need you anymore. I'll make my own via. So this trace that I've exposed here is not what I'm looking for. That is actually the HIFA B-Sync line for touch, which incidentally is the line that runs to the M1 pad on Mason. So I want to try not to damage him, but I do need to get in here and get to my LCM reset line, which I think I may have already taken a chunk of it out. Looks like we've got a little bit of delamination down into that third layer, so we're missing a piece of that trace. Get rid of a little more of this ground. Alright, you guys get out of here. Alright, what do we have here? Here's the line that I'm looking for. Right there. Just want to make sure that I haven't damaged this HIFA B-Sync line. Yeah, it looks okay. Alright, so there's my guy there. He is going to connect to the first trace on the left down here. Oh, and I've knocked this little filter loose, so he's definitely got to go back or I will not get ear speaker working. Alright, so this guy right up here is going to connect down to this guy here. And then next, we got, go ahead and take this chunk out, don't need that. Next, we should have a trace right about here. Oh boy. I hate it when it gets all delaminated up this far. Gonna have to go back a little farther, get a little closer to that flash driver. Oh man, trace keeps flaking off. It looks like I'm finally down to parts of it that are not delaminated, not floating. Alright, so we got that there. Let's expose these guys over here. So this fat one is ground, and then we got this trace, which is going to connect down here to this one. And then next, we've got this via right here that is for LCM enable. I think he's probably okay, so I'm just going to double check that by seeing if I can get a diode mode reading out at the connector, or I'll just do some continuity. Just do a continuity test from there to that pin, and we're good. So that line I don't have to repair, but then these other two I'm gonna have to fix. Let's see what's going on in chat. Cut that line. We don't need B-Sync. It just causes flashing bars. Yeah. Let's see. Diab says, Mark, can you tell us which hot air station you use in your videos? Yeah, I use the Hako 852, which I got secondhand, and it has served me well. Eventually, if I need to replace it, I will probably replace it with one of the quick stations that Jessa is selling in the iPad Rehab Supply store. Those are really great stations for the money, so if you're asking for a recommendation, I wouldn't recommend looking for a used 852 because they're all going to be pretty old, and you can send them to Hako to have them refurbished, and that's affordable, but I think I paid $450 for this station, so even used, they're not cheap, and the quick is a much better bang for the buck. So that's what I recommend, getting a quick from the iPad Rehab Supply store. Alright, and there's the other two traces I need that are going to connect to these guys. So I'll just clean things up a little bit and start running my jumpers. Oh man, that That B-Sync line looks really chewed up. Yep, that's broken. Alright, well, I'm going to have to fix that too. Yay! That's totally what I wanted to do. Completely intentional. Trust me, bro. Okay. Let's get some wire. And some flux. Check chat again real quick. Chris Long says, delaminated trace is like chasing the dragon. Yeah, it's it's maddening sometimes chasing those delaminated traces. Chris says, when you scrape, your blade is really flush with the board, like parallel to the board. Sometimes, for me, I think when I'm removing the layer, I try to run my knife parallel, but when I'm scraping, parallel. When I'm scraping, I try to do it perpendicular and just use light pressure to scrape. And I've got the knife in my right hand, and then I use my left hand with just a finger on top of the blade to help guide it and to apply the pressure. So I think that really helps to keep from going too deep. At least that's my style. Everybody does it their own way, and whatever works, well, that's the right way. Little bit shaky tonight. I think I need a scotch. I think I'm going to have a scotch after I finish this job. Treat myself. All right, let's see if I can get you on here. Okay, I see what's going on here. Now that I've got some flux on the board, I was about to make a mistake here. So the B-Sync line is not cut. I can see that it continues to go up that way. So I believe it is this that's exposed here is actually what runs to my via. And then I was fucking around with this line, which runs down this way. So I don't have to run a jumper for the B-Sync line. I just have to do my LCM reset line, which is going to make this a little bit easier. And I feel like my tweezer tips are a little oxidized, so I'm going to go ahead and fix that. Just throw some solder on them and wipe it off. And let's see. Chris Long says, I've had very little luck with iPhone 6 and 6 Plus EEPROM scrapes. Very discouraging. I don't damage any surrounding trace in the CPU substrate, and diode reading isn't right. Really sucks. Yeah, man, I wish I had some advice to give you for that, but to be honest, I have never gotten one of those repairs. I would like to. I'd love to do it, but just has never made it to my desk. It is an interesting repair, though. I think what he's talking about is the repair where in the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus, one of the lines from the EEPROM that is absolutely required to get data or for the phone to even boot, one of those lines develops an open line under the CPU, but it's off to the side and kind of in the corner of the CPU. So what you can do is scrape down through the CPU, through the RAM, all the way through the RAM, and through the top of the CPU, and you can find a via at the top side of the CPU to connect a jumper to that runs around to the back side of the board to that EEPROM, and that solves the open line problem. It's a really interesting repair, but I have never had the opportunity to do one. All right, that jumper is good. Chris says, I'll send you one. Yeah, I mean, actually, if you want to, just, hit me up on Facebook and we can work it out and find out, when I'm going to be in Florida and able to do it, because it would be a fun thing to do on stream, or maybe I would record that and upload it if I was successful and not do it while I'm streaming. I'm always, and Lewis tells me to, that it's dumb for me to be like this, but I'm always afraid of looking like an idiot on stream, so I tend to only stream repairs that I'm 100% confident are going to go well, and anything else I record, and if it makes me look like a dumbass, I don't have to upload it. Lewis says just stream everything and fuck the haters. All right. Oh man, what did I do with that filter? I lost that filter. Damn it. Son of a bitch. Oh well. I'll just have to get a donor. TTKOH123 says, hi guys, what are those W components in iPhone 6 Plus? And Chris Long says, W? Question mark? Which I will second. W? What are you talking about? I have no clue what you're referring to. Oh, you know what? I missed. I need 3 of these traces, and I only exposed 2, so I need to expose this third guy down here. Look at that. I'm not even paying attention to what I'm doing. So I want to expose this a little farther up than the other ones so I can stagger these and reduce the chance that I will desolder ones that are already repaired as I'm working. All right. There we go. And connect you down here. Ooh, that was almost bad. There we go. Let's see. TTKOH says, yep, W. Chris Long says WX. Greg M says, I was watching Lewis rant regarding Apple suing the Norwegian third-party repair shop for counterfeiting and losing the lawsuit. Yeah, I read about that. Fuck those guys. Fuck Apple. Glad they lost that lawsuit. Chris says, those are just board connections, no components. Greg, did you see where Linus Tech Tips did a video on Apple refusing or being unable to fix their Mac. Let's see. TTKOH, I think what you're talking about is the things that are labeled, I think they're in, like Chris was saying, WX, and those I believe are just like internal to the board, like bridges. So you'll see them marked in the schematics, but you can't actually find the component on the board, and that's because it's inside the board and it's not a component. It's just for whatever reason it's designating a spot where two traces that are named something differently come together. All right, I'm going to get rid of this ground because that's just going to be a pain in the ass. Get out of there, little solder ball. And let's see if I can just peel this ground off and get it away from that trace. Oh man, I just feel like I'm gonna fuck this thing up here if I keep messing around with this. Maybe I'll leave that ground there for now. I think there's a little bit of it I gotta fish out of here. Yeah, there you go. Get out of there. All right, let's get you back away from that ground. All right, I'm gonna resolder this end a little bit. I don't like how loose and flappy that is. There, that's much better. All right, and then we'll get this guy, straighten this out a little bit. Oh, I pinched the wire too hard, so now I gotta break that end off. There we go. Eduardo Lozano says, hi, how do you know what traces to connect? Well, the way I know is from doing like, I don't know, a few hundred of these. But when I didn't have that experience to draw on, what I did was take a bare board and just scrape down and expose the area. So, you know, a bare board that's completely undamaged, and I can use that as a map. So I'll show you the example. Here I've got a bare board, and I have exposed a bunch of this area. So this is kind of my third layer map for when I've got to really dig into the third layer. So that's what I recommend if you haven't done these kind of repairs and you want to figure it out. Get yourself a bare board and use that as your guideline for where traces go. All right, now I've got one more to go, and then I've got to go get a filter to replace the one that I knocked off and lost for that ear speaker line. Let's see. Chris saying, Mark, is that a conical or blade tip? I'm actually using the hot tweezers. So it is conical, kind of. It's the, what is it, T9i, or is it T30i? I always get those mixed up. But yeah, I don't really use my micro pencil at all anymore. I just use hot tweezers for all this stuff. So yeah. Ah, no, no, you stop that. Ah, you son of a bitch. You fucking bastard. I am gonna have to have a drink when this is done. I have to have a nice glass of some fine scotch. Watch some Netflix for a few minutes. Get myself calmed down. So I'm about to start raging. Whew. There we go. That'll do it. Now I'll go ahead and tin these pads up for this filter right here and dig out a donor board. All right, let's see. That one's missing it. That one's got it. There we go. And let me see if I can catch up with chat here for a minute. Oh, Martin's back. All right. Yeah, Martin's asking Chris, how's the baby? Fussing up a storm, doesn't want to sleep. Oh, man, yeah. I remember those days. Well, Chris, I hope your experience is better than mine was with my son. He was absolutely insane, and people think I'm exaggerating when I say this, but I swear to God, for it was about 9 months, 8 or 9 months, he would not sleep at all unless somebody was holding him. So my wife and I had to take different shifts. I barely saw her because I would be up all night with the baby, and then she would be up all day with him, and he would sleep if you were holding him, but he just knew there was no way to get him out of your hands and onto a flat surface. He would wake up every time. We both thought we were going to go crazy and just fucking take the whole family and drive into a river. But we made it through it. Eventually, he stopped being such an asshole. Alright, so I think we're good on all these traces, as long as that doesn't touch that ground there. Okay, I'm ready to test this. So all I really care about right now is that I just want to get that Apple logo. If I get that, then almost every time everything is good. So at that point, I'll get Apple logo and I'll make sure it has touch. And if it does, then I'll consider this done and I'll go and hook everything back up in the housing, fully test and confirm that everything's working. But I don't do the full test on stream just because it's a waste of time. All right, we got Apple logo, so that's a great sign. And let's just boot it up and see if we get touch. Did you ever find your UV light? Greg's asking. No, I did not. I still haven't found the UV light, so I'm going to revert back to my old school method for protecting these traces, which is just straight up 5-minute Home Depot epoxy, which I really like. I think it works well. It's you know, not as great as the green goop, but it does a good job. Chris Long says LSD will transition to Touch IC issues. Chris, you go fuck yourself, man. Don't don't jinx me like that, you bastard. That's out of the last 6 long screw damage jobs I've done, 2 of them required touch as well. Oh man, Martin, he's saying it's almost 6 a.m. there and you have work at 9. Dude, you better get some sleep. That's crazy. All right, come on, boot up. Let's see. All right, we got, do we have, oh, you fucker, you son of a bitch. We have no touch. Son of a bitch. All right. Well, I know this is going to be a waste of time, but I'm gonna confirm with another screen just to be absolutely sure. I wonder if this screen that I'm trying now is the one that I know is bad. I should probably throw the bad screens away. All right, we're gonna boot up again. All right, we got Apple logo, so now we'll just wait another 10 minutes while it boots up. Stupid iPhone 6 with your dumb touch problems. And that's the way it goes. Chris knows how it is. It's the customer never mentions that they caused long screw damage while they were changing out screens to troubleshoot a no touch problem. So you get everything booted up and oh look, no touch. Now you got to go and fix touch ICs too. Which, you know, on the 6, I'm just going to start with reflowing Mason and see if that works. Sometimes it works. A lot of the time it works. And, you know, when I'm throwing it in for free on top of a long screw damage repair, then you get what you get. All right. No touch confirmed. So let's do this. Thank you. Thank you, Chris. I blame you for this. It's totally your fault. I don't think that the problem is related to 3rd layer damage for that. Actually, I spoke too soon. I think this is 3rd layer damage. I don't know if I can get my camera to pick this up, but it looks like that HIFA B-Sync line runs along here and then from here up at an angle to this test point here. I think, or no, it runs over to this. Well, it runs somewhere. Let's dig down there and see. It's too late for this crap. Damn it. This was supposed to be done. Alright. Get this layer shaved off here. And that is spongy. So I bet that's my problem. I think that's the via, but I'm going to consult my bare board and see. So this is the Haifa B-Sync line that runs along like that. So is this guy, that guy is not what I'm looking for, I think. Ugh, man. All right, let's just keep digging and find out. I think maybe it pops up as a test point. Oh yeah, there it goes. There it goes. Great. Lovely. So now I got looks like two lines down here. Or is it just one? Just one. All right. All right. So that line kind of there's like a fat spot and then it runs off this way, so I should find the rest of that trace right up here. Right there. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to connect a jumper from here over to here. And I'm going to do it without fucking up the trace that I've already repaired. Maybe. Maybe not. Alright, now I'm hesitant to even check chat because I don't know what Chris Long is saying, predicting else is going to be wrong with this phone, and maybe if I don't see it, it won't happen. Let's see. Chris is saying he usually reflows on the 6. Yeah, I mean that usually works, and it usually works long term. So, you know, let's see. Chris says, I just wanted you to fully enjoy this board. Yeah, I totally was not enjoying it enough, and now it's just way more awesome. TTKOH123 says, why not connect from M1? Because I believe that it is going to be much more work to run a jumper from the top of the board around and get it underneath the chip than to kind of, you know, get it in here without fucking things up. Maybe I'll prove that that was not such a great idea, but we'll see. Alright, so I need to get this guy in here without desoldering the one right next to it. And my hands are still shaky. Ah, come on! Just do the thing that I want you to do, you bastard. Let's try getting in a little closer on it. There we go. Nope, nope. Damn it. Damn you. Damn you, Chris Long. Everything was going fine. Then Chris shows up, starts jinxing this repair. Looks like it's time to get a little bit of fresh flux in there. And I've gripped that wire too hard, so now I need to break that piece off. This wire is so delicate. Ah, there we go. Gotcha. All right, you little bastard. You're gonna do what I want. There we go. And now touch is going to work. Although it looks like I got a little solder bridge there, so I just need to touch that up. There we go. All right, now let's see if touch works. Touch is gonna work. I know it's gonna work. Okay, let's see what's going on in chat. Chris says he would rather wish Touch IC on me than this. Yeah, I would much rather it be Touch IC, but Greg's asking Chris Long if he uses an iron for his long screw damage repairs. He says no, he uses his tweezers also. Same as Mark, I probably run too high a temp though. I mean, I run 750 Fahrenheit, so you know that's about as high as it goes. Martin Law says, I sneezed doing TriStar on a 7 this evening, hence the late hour of work. Oh, God. All right, there we go. We got touch. Another one solved. No thanks to Chris. You know I'm kidding, Chris. I love you, man. We got to get together and hang out again sometime. I hope you're going to be at whenever there's the next unconference, which I guess I should probably look into because I am about ready for another drunken night of repair industry hangout. It's been too long. All right, clean the flux off, reposition these wires so they're not touching each other, and get everything ready for the epoxy. There we go. That'll work. So my epoxy will just flow down and under and around all these wires and just hold them right in the position that they're in. So it will be good for the long term. Now, I am a little bit worried with the sponginess of this area. This is where there are traces running for Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. So hopefully I don't have to deal with that. If I do, it's pretty straightforward. I'll probably stream it if I have to, but hopefully they're just lifted and not broken. So let's see, I'll just finish up what's going on in chat, and that'll be the end. Martin says, I'll have to come over to one of those sometime. Well, yeah, Martin, if you are ever in the U.S. and you're going to any kind of convention, or if you're going to be in the North Florida or Rochester area, definitely let me know so I can plan to be in the same area and we can go out and have a beer or 2 or 10. Yeah, show you all how to drink. I'm down for that. All right, guys, thanks for hanging out with me. I am done for tonight. So you guys have a good night. I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching.